Okay, amigos. Now we're gonna see the geographic of the Mexico cartel. Ay, Dios mío.
This is a map of the territories controlled by cartels in Mexico. The two major ones are the Sinaloa cartel and the Jalisco New Generation cartel, otherwise known as the CJNG. These territories might look somewhat scattered and random, but it's not by chance these territories are where they are. I'll explain that soon, but if we zoom out, you'll notice I've highlighted some nations in different colors, and that's because they are all part of what I like to call the geopolitics of the cartels. This is not just the story of how cartels work, it's the geopolitics involved in what they do. And while their primary business revolves around drugs, if you thought they
Always, why do Americans always think everything is about them? Bro, Europe is a bigger market. Shut the fuck up. Show Europe too.
stop there, you're in for a rude awakening. The cartels continue to systemically seek to take over the entire vertical chain of several economies in Mexico, and not just illegal ones. But you might be confused why China is highlighted on this map, and that's because they are a key partner in this whole scheme for two very different reasons. But I'll talk about that later in the video. For now, let me direct your attention to Latin America, more specifically Colombia. Colombia is the #1 producer of cocaine, since the coca plant that eventually becomes cocaine requires very specific growing conditions: high altitude, tropical climate, acidic soils, and certain temperature and humidity ranges. The perfect mix of these conditions are found pretty much only in Colombia, Peru, and Bolivia, but not in Mexico. So the cartels have to buy the finished cocaine product in bulk from Colombian trafficking groups. After the product has been made through a quite extensive process, the Colombian traffickers transport it, usually via boat or semi-submersible submarines, to Central America, places like Honduras, Guatemala, or southern Mexico. Then the Mexican cartels step in. They act as the middlemen. Their job is to get the product from Central America into the US. Many methods have been used to accomplish this. Trucks literally going through the US-Mexico border, knowing that if you just send a lot of them, some, if not most, will slip through. This is the preferred method of the CJNG. But there's of course also the infamous tunnels of the Sinaloa cartel, carefully dug to avoid any detection and to link up with commercial warehouses on both sides, making loading and unloading almost too easy. These tunnels are a major part in why the cartels have immense interest in controlling the largest possible territory along the US-Mexico border. Another reason for that is the other method. See, recently drones have been used to fly in product, and you might say, drones? Those must be the most obvious targets. How could those ever slip through? Well, it's a numbers game, and drones are disposable and cheap compared to the value of their load, so even if you send 100 drones and only 10 make it, it's still a viable and profitable method. The most successful method though is likely by using submarines. We've seen a lot of these semi-submersibles being caught because they are pretty easy to catch if you happen to fly by them, or simply through satellites or radars, because they stick up from the ocean like a sore thumb. But they're important because they can hold tons of cocaine, and it really sucks when they get caught, though it is still a numbers game. But the cartels still want to maximize their profit, so they've long been trying to get fully submersible
Bro, is it me or this guy boring?
subs, which
Bro, we know how to smuggle it. Smuggle it 1,000 million ways, man. You can make movies about all the different kinds they do. And bro, you can use fucking all day, man. Show me the geographic areas. Why are you speaking about everything else, my friend?
we now know they have. It is almost impossible to find these subs once they're underwater, so they're almost bulletproof. But there is still one aspect of these submarines that makes them somewhat risky, since if they do get caught, the operators might talk and snitch on the cartel. So the cartels are currently focusing heavily on developing remote controlled submarines. We know this because they just seized a submarine in Colombia that had a Starlink antenna on it for communication. Yeah, it's insane the technological improvements these submarines have seen in just the last.
Yet I still don't care. Show me the geographical areas. Why the hell do you keep on talking about U-boats?
last few years. And it makes sense, they're a key piece of the puzzle. But the cartels have realized something in recent years. It's really annoying to sell drugs made from plants that are at the mercy of Mother Nature. Oh, I'm sorry, that's Birdie. It's a CO2 monitor that hangs on the wall, and it's kind of cool. It looks like a bird, but it is a CO2 monitor. And basically, when it falls down, it tells me when I need to air out the room, which I will do now. And basically, when the CO2 levels drop enough, the bird is now going to go up again. And ever since I got this bird, I haven't had any migraines and I sleep much better. So yeah, if you're interested in one of these, I'll leave a link down below in the description, and you can get...
Bro, you're not slick. Nobody wants your bird. Nobody wants to use your link. Nobody wants to anything with that bird, bro. Just show me talk about the geographical area. Shut the fuck up about everything else.
Get a 10% discount as well as an extra free color if you use the code OBF10 at checkout. So yeah, check them out if you want. But anyway, the cartels realized it's pretty annoying to sell drugs made from plants. So why not sell something that's synthetically made, more potent, so you need fewer and smaller shipments, as well as much cheaper to acquire? This is where methamphetamine, fentanyl, and China come into the picture. See, fentanyl is a synthetic opioid 50 times more potent than heroin and 100 times more potent than cocaine. And meth is 3 to 4 times more potent than cocaine, but its effects last 10 to 20 times longer. And they are much cheaper to produce than cocaine. There is one problem though. Mexico doesn't produce the necessary precursor chemicals to make meth or fentanyl. So the cartels needed a partner to be able to sell this stuff. That partner they found in China. Because it turns out Chinese chemical manufacturers
I hope a Chinese person...
and criminal networks supply most of the precursors for fentanyl and methamphetamine to the Mexican cartels. Here's how it works. These chemicals are shipped, often misdeclared, to Mexican Pacific ports such as Manzanillo or Lázaro Cárdenas. Then once on Mexican soil, they end up at labs where cartel chemists synthesize fentanyl and meth powder from the precursors. Now comes the interesting part though. Since fentanyl is 100 times more potent than cocaine, simple math tells us you need way less to fill the demand. Money has gotten exponentially more difficult as law enforcement and financial services. The legitimate company is obviously owned by the cartel, but through shell companies, so it can't be traced back or none at all regarding their activities.
This guy can suck my... This video was a waste of time. Yeah, he didn't show shit. So, see you guys next time.